Hello, welcome to CodeInbox Automation Lab. This is Sharful. In this tutorial, we're going to see the 4 most common challenges every QA faces during their day-to-day tasks and how to resolve those issues. So in the software development process, QA testing occupies a unique position. The testers are responsible for ensuring that every piece of code developed in a project is bug-free and operates in alignment with technical and business requirement. This means QA engineer must possess a comprehensive understanding of each project and what it means accomplish. Additionally, they must have clarity on what can go wrong in the operation of applications. It is natural they will face numerous challenges in their day-to-day tasks. Here are the 4 common QA challenges as far I have learned and I have seen in my experiences. They face day-to-day their tasks and how to resolve those things. So let's go and discover those challenges. So number 1, the last minute changes to requirement. Okay, it is quite common to change a project requirement mid-sprint in agile development project nowadays. While this is frustrating for entire team, right? So the tester can be especially affected. They might have to redo the entire scope of testing, since even the smallest changes to a code base needs to be run through multiple tests to ensure its stability and compatibility with existing code. For example, if a browser, just assume that if a browser introduces an update, a tester will have to perform browser compatibility testing to ensure that the website existing features run smoothly even after the update. On the other hand, if new feature is added or inject changes to the existing function on last minute, cross-browser testing is necessary, right? Cross-browser testing is necessary to ensure that the feature works perfectly across multiple browser. So what would be the solution then? So there is not much of a workaround if there are a tight deadline within which to deliver result. But tester must expect that this will occur frequently, especially in agile. If requirement changes come through towards the end of the sprint, tester can try their best. That's what I feel. Tester can try their best for running as many tests as possible within the time available. It must be made very clear before the project begins that the last minute changes to software may not be fully tested within predetermined deadline. So additionally, the developer and other stakeholder will also be aware of what can be expected from QA and can set timeline accordingly. So that's what's my solution. That's the solution is like try as much as possible, test scenarios, test coverage, but also tester have the job that they will inform all the stakeholder, developer, product owner, everyone that's about that situation, so that they don't expect that 100% test coverage will happen, because it's not magic, right? You came through a challenge at the very end and you don't give any time, so how the tester will run. But tester have to be mindset that it will happen always. Okay, so let's see what's the next problem. So next issue I face that inadequate information on user story. So a tester primary job is to formulate test cases based on possible user journey. However, to create test cases, QA must have in-depth information about user journey. This information must come from the product owner, right, who have the best knowledge and understanding of what the software is expected to do and how the user likely to navigate it. However, if the product owner themselves do not have clarity on a user journey, they cannot communicate it to the QA, and which is very common scenario you will see in agile. That's the product owner, they are not 100% sure about the product journey or a story, so they don't have that, they have the lack of information on their story. So which just means like, they don't it doesn't clear the, or it doesn't follow the definition of ready, for their story. But this is always happen. So as a result, what happened, QA cannot create test cases that will comprehensively test the application flows in user experience. To a large extent, this defects the purpose of QA testing. So what is the solution? The solution would be, this is where the tester must somewhat depend on their own judgment instead of relying on detailed requirement and user stories. Even though tester will try to communicate with the product owner, all other developer, all other stakeholder, to get the most amount of information clarity they can get, but they can wait too long because it's they have to perform the sprint testing, so there is a limited time. So on that times they can do their own judgment. Okay, tester can start thinking about high level scenario a user would be likely to face when using certain software. For example, instead of waiting for full clarification about a feature, tester can formulate a set of likely user scenarios based on the website or application concept. So when test cases are written on based on high level use cases, changes in features details will result in minor variation in test script. So if the changes happen later on, but it will impact very minor variation, because you cover high level use cases. So this is because the context and the wider user journey remains the same always. Hence, Q will have to make less effort in this regard. So this is the best solution I found, in regards, especially when you work on Agile. So let's see the next one. So next, number 3, inadequate experience with the test automation. In an Agile development project requires tester to be technically sound good, especially with regards to integration testing and API testing. They are also required to create a script for UI automation testing, like for regression, with some automation tools or API to API, like such as Selenium, Cypress, and so on. If a tester is mostly experienced with the manual exploratory testing, they will face major challenges in delivering result with the speed expected in an automation driven project. So this is a big challenge nowadays. You will see, if you think about 5, 7, 10 years way back, manual test was all of the mother of tests. But nowadays it's in Agile, you don't get enough time, so that's why and a unit test or integration test, especially integration test, it comes to a significant part of the testing. So you need to know some automation skill. So what would be the solution? The solution: anyone looking to work in a QA testing should have some knowledge of programming language frequently used to write test script, like a JavaScript, and so on, or Python. And even if a tester is familiar with those languages, they should also have to be proficient with the right tools for doing automation job, as like Selenium. As I said, Selenium or Cypress is highly effective for browser automation purpose, and knowledge of how it works very helpful, right? So beside the JMeter, if you can think about it, is an open source performance testing tool, which is also quite easy to pick up and quite useful in automation scenarios. So company should have professional development opportunity to learn and grow their skills. So that's, nowadays most of the company they offer, so to improve your skill, they give you some sort of opportunity for certification and other career growth, opportunity. So employees should have take that opportunity and promote themselves to learn, in regard to learn and develop their skill in regards the market demand. Okay, so that will be the solution. So let's see the last one I face, which is inadequate collaboration between tester and developers, which is a very very common issue for a long time. So professional tension between development and testing teams is still quite common. Development teams must feel like testing is a, developer teams sometimes they feel, and most of the companies they feel like testing is a final stage of process, and testers do not need anything apart from a list of user journey and technical requirement. However, a tester end up having a difficult time identifying flaws in the code if they are not familiar with the development process, which is very, common things, right? So if you're not familiar with the code, you don't have to understand the code, but if you're not familiar with the journey of the code, how it works, you will not able to design your test cases. So if they don't understand how a piece of software works, they will have trouble creating test script that can strongly detect all possible bugs. So then what would be the solution? What's the solution? As a the lead, or the long time my experience, like a decade experience in this field, I found the solution to be the collaboration between developer and QS facilities, always brings the better testing. So by sharing knowledge with the tester from the beginning of the development, maybe when the grooming happen or planning session happen, the developer can help tester to make better decision about what test to run to ensure software quality and functionality. So when testers are empowered to make informed decision, developer will also benefit. Developer will also definitely benefit, since comprehensive testing of a software component ensure that they are ready to deploy in production with confidence. So addressing all the challenges as we discussed here will not only to make the lives of a QA tester much easier, but will streamline a software development process to make it more effective and time efficient. By making it easy for QAs to do their job well, an organization can ensure that their software products are developed to meet all business requirements and function in the best possible way. Thank you so much. That's all for today. Hope this will help you a lot. And based on this solution, you can, whether you are a leader or QA, you can take the action to resolve those solutions, to save yourselves and save your team, as well as perform the better, and ultimately you can deliver a quality product. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.